James, how are you, mate? Wayne said he hears us loud and clear. Thank you, mate.
Sweet. Cheers, mate.
Everybody have a good
Have
week.
you finished throwing people fucking 303s yet?
No.
You probably had this one out before, haven't you? I'm
No,
sure you
no.
have.
No,
G'day,
no.
Shane.
It's a different... bit of
How's
different
everybody's
stuff.
week been? Throw it up in the comments if you've had a shit week or a good week or whatever. Who's going shooting this weekend?
Right. We're on?
Yeah, mate, we've been on for
We're
a
on,
while.
are we? Righto. Just want to show you a little job I did earlier in the week. Guy brought in a special set of rings which he needs. Pipe.
They're off
size
his night vision.
for his night vision. But he wanted them detachable. No such thing.
Quick detach.
Quick detach. He wanted. So there's no such thing made in the world. In his particular configuration he wanted. So I've converted his rings into quick detach with a little lever arm that pulls back and you can reposition it out of the way. Quite an interesting little job. I like stuffing around small things like that, making parts.
Is more than just a pretty face.
Maybe.
Not
Or not even a pretty
even
face.
pretty face.
That's nasty.
But I wouldn't say that about you, Bill.
I always, whenever people ring up and say, "Is that you, Zaine?" I said, "No, it's a handsome looking bloke."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, you went
I was not granted with the handsomeness of the beaten strain.
Oh, good.
I wasn't
You're lucky.
I just got bigger cock.
Anyway,
To that little tiny thing.
We can tell it's hanging off your head.
that was just a little project. Great fun. Great when they come out good. So what I was going to talk about tonight was just a little bit about these number 32 scopes that are reproduction. I believe they're made in Taiwan. Most of them go to the US, and that's where they come from if we get them. But it's difficult to get them out of the US. The company that imports them over there won't export. Well, they haven't been anyway. We found a couple of ways around it, but we've only managed to get a few. But there's others that have come in, people have managed to get them themselves, get someone in the US to buy it and then post it to them. But that's a little bit fraught with problems if Department of Homeland Defense or whatever they are in America catch a military object going out of the country, they tend to get a bit nasty about it.
Yeah, well, the company that I was dealing with over there wouldn't send me a rifle stock out of their particular state. So I had them send it to me mate in Rhode Island, who then sent it to us.
Yeah.
And Homeland Security grabbed it. Funny ass. You run the gauntlet. You run the gauntlet.
Yeah. But these kits that come are quite good. They've got everything in them that you need, and the tool that you need to grow an extra arm for to actually operate. But they come in this lovely sturdy box, and the scope actually screws down into place.
Just break my shit.
No, it was already broken.
Yeah, that's the carry case for it. There's the two little
Cubis, if you're watching, I want warranty on that fucking Bushnell mount.
Oh, the good quality Bushnell.
Yeah, the one that I've had for about 3 or 4 years and I'd never look after.
and it obviously is one of the problems.
There you go, fixed. Yeah, it's warranty.
Yeah.
It's always warranty.
Yeah, the two little pads that you have to attach to the rifle to make it actually.
So it comes with the pads?
Yeah, the kit comes with the pads, comes with the screws, drills, and the tap, the special taps for tapping the threads that you need to tap into the action.
Oh, has it got like a BA tap or something, does it?
It's got a BA tap here. These 3 screws here.
Yeah.
Is 10 BA or something. I can't remember what it is now. Anyway, they're BAs, but the thread that that actually holds the scope to the body of the rifle. UNF, of course, just to be different.
Like quarter 24 or whatever.
Yeah, quarter 24.
We don't want to mess up and put it in the wrong hole.
Wouldn't be any chance of that happening.
Yeah,
And
so the
they
pads were originally screwed and soldered on.
Screwed and soldered to the body.
So they're not coming off in a hurry.
They don't come off. The only things that have happened, apparently, according to a couple of the old soldiers that were renovating these rifles and repairing them, is this little ring which is a locator for the front screw. Sometimes that shears off if these screws come loose, and the scopes gets a bit of movement in it, and it'll shear that off.
You probably need to talk up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that is repairable. You don't have to worry about replacing this whole pad. Because once the pads are on there and the rifle is zero, the pads have to be hand fitted to get the scope to line up, because the side of the body of the rifle is never perfect from rifle to rifle to rifle. So these pads have to be, you have to file them to adjust your windage to make sure that the windage adjuster is in the centre, and then you get it bore sided this way, and then you don't run out of adjustment. And the poor old SMLE won't, or number 4 won't shoot in the right place.
So it's an absolute pain in the ass to fit those pads.
It's a fairly big job to fit them, and then you've got to put them together, all screwed together, get it all right, lined up, and take them off, solder them and screw them again. Screw them down the second time and solder them down at the same time. Because these little screws are only soft, they're not high tensile. Why would you use high tensile screws? Well, that was a rhetorical question,
Well, you high tensile screws and just pull the side of the action out.
No, you wouldn't.
Pull the thread out of the action.
Yeah, probably. But as it is, you can snap them off without much trouble if you do them up too tight. But they come. The kit comes with a lens protectors, the old-fashioned style, leather, but very robust. And special tool. Now this tool is for resetting the scale after you've zeroed the rifle. So you zero the rifle at, say, 100 metres and 100 yards. In this case, it would be the 303. And the scale is numbered 0 to 16 in either direction. 16 MOA in either direction they've got. So what you've got is this little special tool which fits in here, and it loosens the outer clamping ring, so you can return the scale to 0 when you zero the rifle. But you need to be able to hold that, or to move it. That fits into it to loosen the clamping ring off, and then this one here returns the reticle to 0. So you need a helper. Either that or grow a third arm.
Is it 1 click per MOA or
No.
no?
Probably half MOA clicks, is it?
No, 2 MOA click windage.
2 MOA.
2 MOA, yep,
Per click.
per click.
Yeah, right. 'Cause
Yeah, they weren't a fine adjustable scope, what you normally call a fine adjustable scope.
no,
No.
not at all, really.
I suppose most people's heads are wider than 2 inches, so you should be good.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Yeah, but if you were shooting them at 400 yards, 1 click, 8 inch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. We'd move it from here to here. It's still getting.
Yeah.
Not back then, when they're all skinny bastards back then.
I just stand side on and he'd miss me every time.
That's because you disappear.
Yeah.
All
But
the cracks.
interesting thing about these was this scope was never designed and built originally to fit a number 4. It was originally designed and built to put on a bringer, and that's why you see the when it's fitted to the rifle, the windage adjustment is on the left-hand side. Normal, scopes nowadays, the windage adjustment is on the right-hand side. And that was because when this was fitted to the left-hand side of a Bren gun, the magazine was right here. And so the designers moved the windage across the other side. But then when they decided, never ever fitted one to a Bren gun apparently. They made the scopes and made the Bren guns to suit, but never ever fitted one. And in 1940 they decided they needed sniper rifles, and so this was in the works, being made, and it was quickly adapted to the number 4 rifle, and that was, the adaptation was by making these pads and fitting them to the side of the rifle. Whereas on the Bren, the original idea on the Bren gun was that this would screw straight onto the body of the Bren, the dovetail, or the slot here, and the mounting point was part of the Bren body. But,
So why did they put the magazine on a Bren gun at the top?
That's what the Czechs did, wasn't it?
yeah, it was Czechoslovakian rifle originally.
It was EB26 and the 22?
Yeah, they
21,
made a
something
couple
like
of variations, and then the Brits got hold of it.
I didn't ask who fucking designed it.
Well, it's Czech.
Why
You
did
don't
they
even
do that?
You shouldn't question
Well,
it. It's Czech.
Gravity is a good thing, helps with feeding, and the empties went straight out the bottom. I don't know. I have no idea why they decided, but
Maybe technically the gun was upside down.
possibly. See, they're on the
I've
other
also
side.
heard it so you can get closer to the ground.
Yeah, you can get closer to the ground, but it's
Then
only
you
around
get
there.
lower.
Yeah, that was their thing.
Probably a good place to be when people are shooting back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, they weren't the only gun to have a top-feeding magazine. Like the Japs had a couple of guns that were on the top.
as well. It's very similar.
Our own gun was on the top.
Yeah, there must have been some tactical advantage to it.
There were a couple of American automatic rifles in the First World War that fed from the top.
Oh, yeah, well, the Peterson device fed.
Yeah, that was from the angle.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the 404 one that they had for aircraft mount.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
had
well,
2 magazines on the top.
Yeah, well, the both was 20 and 40 millimeter
Yep.
cannons have their mags on top.
And they still do.
Yeah.
Fuck, you need a girlfriend?
I do know. Why would you do that?
Nah. Why? You offer it.
Ruin your fucking
Yeah,
life.
yeah. We can stick together like Velcro.
Yeah.
The Brits.
Well, it'll be like Velcro with the.
Can you two shut the fuck up?
The Brits did quite a bit of modifications and got it to work with 303 rim cases, because the Czechs, of course, their original ones were in 8x57, and the Brits modified it a fair bit to get it to feed 303, and it became a very, very, very useful.
It was a very accurate rifle.
Yeah, very accurate. But the interesting part about it was that, being part of the Commonwealth, they started making Bren guns in Lisco in about 1940-41 as well.
Yeah.
We supplied a lot to the Brits, and I can't remember which factory it was. But
You thinking of Inglis? In Canada?
Inglis in Canada
Yeah.
made them as well, made thousands of them, and they actually made a version in 8x57, sold it to the Chinese.
Well, I don't think it was sold, but it was
Probably
provided.
gave it to them, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of their sterile
Yeah,
sort of covert
yeah.
supply.
What else? They made them, they made them in one other calibre too, I can't remember what it was
Well, I know they were in 7.62x39. The Chinese nationalists did that.
now.
Or was it the one of the Chinese in the 50s?
Yeah, so they're a very, very rugged scope. They handle a lot of abuse.
So what would that scope be contemporary to? What is that rifle, the sort of rifle that would have had that scope?
exactly. This was the number 4303 was the first rifle that they fitted the Mark 1, the number 32 scope, they call it, Mark 1, to the number 4 rifle. And Holland did that.
So it was Britain manufactured rifles?
Almost all. There was a few Savage rifles apparently got mixed in there. They were mostly supposed to be British VSAs and Enfields, but in the list of rifles that were done there, you will find a few Savages. And it might be one or two long branch rifles, but there was a special specification for them. they had to have the solid machined front sight protector,
As opposed to the pressed one.
as opposed to a pressed metal one,
Yeah.
which this is. The front sight had a clamping screw for the blade, so you could loosen the clamping screw off and adjust the windage for
So more of
easy.
a marksman style rifle.
Yeah. The rear ladder sight, which this one's missing from, they ground the battle sight off it so that it would fit underneath here when the scope was on.
Yeah.
And then if you needed to, if the scope did get damaged, you could take it off and use an open sight. There's a few other specifications that they had to meet, and Holland set them up, fitted the scopes, set up the bedding correctly in the rifle and tested them, and then they were issued to the Army, and apparently in the time, all the time that Holland were manufacturing it or setting them up, the Army only ever rejected one. It was because they'd forgotten to put the proper front sight blade in there.
Right.
So, and they made thousands of them. So quite a bit different to the Australian effort. While the Brits were doing this with a number 32 scope and everything, of course Australia went back and made the 1918 pattern scope and put it on the SMLE on the number 1, which wasn't as good a setup as this one.
Did they see extensive use though?
Yes, all through Europe after the D-Day landings especially.
So there was a lot of Brits running around with number 4s with number 32 scopes,
Yeah,
slotting Germans.
yeah.
And is there a lot of stories
I'm not
of
sure.
particular marksmen doing it, or?
No, there's not really. None that I've been able to come across anyway. There's a few photographs of different random guys, you know, and there's one photograph of two British soldiers, one of them with one of these, leaning over some rubble, you know, some bricks and stones or whatever they are, somewhere in Holland.
I was just trying to judge whether that was something that you'd want. You know, would you want to have one, or would you want someone in your platoon or whatever to have one?
Well, yeah.
Or were they fucking a bit?
No, I think you'd be quite happy to have a couple of these. And you know the guys that have got them have been trained to shoot people at 400, 500, 600 yards.
Well, I'd rather them have one of them than a spoon.
Yes.
No, I mean like in the urban warfare and stuff, would you have preferred a bloody, well not a Sten gun, because no one wanted them, but you know, like a submachine gun style weapon or a battle rifle, standard battle rifle over one of these? Like how useful really were they?
Yeah.
Or were they more of a niche sort of fucking...
They probably were, because most of the snipers that were trained to be reconnaissance intelligence gatherers as well, you know.
Yeah.
Sneak out, way out from the front line and scope out what's happening and who's there and how many troops and all the tanks or trucks or whatever.
A lot of them would have been placed on some sort of overwatch as well.
Yeah.
What were the Yanks using at the time? Springfield still?
Springfield with a scope on it, yeah.
I know that was a Garand variant, but I don't think that was really used. I think the M1C and M1D, is what they called them.
I think they were later after the war. But
Yeah, it might have been later 40s.
Yeah.
Did they use the 32 scope on the L42 series rifles?
Yes, that's what happened with this. This went through a couple of series changes. This is a copy of a Mark 1, and which it's got a sliding sunshade on the eyepiece. That's about the only difference you can tell. The Mark 2s had a little bit better backlash adjustments in the reticle movements. Instead of a convoluted wire spring that took the backlash out of it, they just used ordinary coil springs, which, you know, why wouldn't you? Then it went to the Mark III, which had been waterproof, because apparently when they sent them to the Middle East and the Far East, they had trouble with them fogging up because they weren't weren't waterproof. But the Mark III was waterproof with O-rings and seals. And then when they went to the 7.62 and decided to make the L42, which was a heavy barrel, half stocked number 4 rifle, but in 308, they changed these by changing the scale. That was about it.
There's obviously a little bit better performance in the wind.
Yeah, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you read it in meters instead of yards.
Instead of yards, yeah.
That was about it. But and to show how rugged they are, they carried on using them right up until the 90s. They were made in the very early 70s. They were put together from about 1971 onwards. I haven't got figures on how many L42s were made, but probably at least a couple of thousand. And they were used right up until Desert Storm by the British SAS.
They probably brought them back when they got rid of the L96 temporarily.
Yeah.
What magnification is it?
Sorry?
What magnification is it?
3.5 power.
3.5?
Yeah.
So if you're, so like going back to what I was saying, is the Yanks would have been using a Springfield.
Yeah.
So like me and Brian were talking about Easy Company, which was 101st Airborne, that were dropped in into France and whatnot. Would they have had Springfields?
Some, I'm not sure. Some of the American regiments, battalions, and so on still had Springfields, but they were trying to equip all their people with Garands because
Even getting as a sniper rifle.
not as a sniper rifle. No, the Springfields were made up of sniper rifles.
No, I'm just talking about the sniper
Yeah,
rifles.
the
that we
sniper
used.
rifles. The only sniper rifles the Yanks used in the Second War, I'm pretty sure, was the Springfield, the pattern 1903C. And if you see photographs, it's easy to identify, even if you can't see this part of the thing, because it doesn't have a front sight. No front sight whatsoever on it. So it's a scope fire, throw it away and pick up the German rifle or something.
So the Brits had these
Yeah.
in France, and the Americans had the Springfield.
Yeah.
And what were the Germans? What were they going up against as far as what sniper rifles were the Germans had?
The Germans had all manner of stuff. They had M98s.
Because that would have been a lot of the troops would have had M98s.
Yeah, all their troops, their bolt action rifle that the troops carried was an M98.
And what proportion of that 98s did the Germans have as opposed to MP40s and?
I'm not sure what that was, but the Germans experimented with everything. When they fought the Russians, they captured a lot of Tokarevs, which the Russians had put scopes on.
What, PPSHs or whatever? No.
The
Tokarev.
The full
SVT.
Semi-auto SVT 40
Yeah.
or whatever it was, yeah.
And the Germans, whenever they captured them, they used them until they ran out of ammo because they were so useful. They were rugged and tough and
Semi-automatic
semi-automatic
sniper rifle.
Yeah. And but they also had a lot of Nagant, Moser Nagants that were literally thousands of them with scopes on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They had a huge army, but they had literally thousands and thousands of them set up with scopes.
And had lots of exotic ammunition available to the Soviet to shoot over the Eastern Front because they weren't fighting people.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they blow up.
But the Germans, interestingly enough, experimented with semi-automatics with scopes on, and even that, what was that rifle had with the magazine out the side?
The paratrooper gun.
Yeah,
HG or
MG42?
not MG? No, it was
FG.
FG42.
FG42, that's right.
You remember it from COD, don't you?
No, I remember it from.
I remember it from COD.
I remember it from. I think it was Forgotten Weapons where they did a 3-gun with a BAR and a fucking FG42 and.
Yeah.
the bar, well, the BAR was just so much heavier and fucking longer and just a more of a tons of
It was like
fucking
twice the weight and half
rifle
the
use.
Yeah, but you could probably put more rounds on target.
Yeah, but old mate with the FG was just like, what? Oh, next mag in.
You only had 20 round mags or something,
Yeah,
didn't
but
they?
he chewed through them real quick.
Well, yeah, the
So
Germans.
they put a scope on the FG42.
Yeah, and
That's just cheating by that stage. isn't it?
yeah, I suppose. But interesting thing, the Germans used a lot of sniper rifles in the First War, and they set rifles up with some with commercial scopes on, you know, any scope that they could find, and they beat the British to the punch in the trench warfare. They had lots of sniper rifles early before the British got involved in them.
Better say g'day. G'day, Pop. How are you, mate?
But the interesting part about that is one particular rifle. It was set up in Germany in the First War with a commercial scope on it that they pirated from some sportsman, and obviously it was used in the war because it was, I'm pretty sure it was surrendered to the Allies after the war, and then somehow they got it back. It was remanufactured for the Second War, and it was used in the Second War, and disappeared. The next time it was found was in 1966 in Vietnam. The Yanks captured it in Vietnam. The NBA had been using it as a bloody sniper rifle, and it was still set up with the as it was rebuilt in the Second World War. Very interesting. I've seen a photo of it. It's quite, it looks just old M98 with the flash scope, and it's got some sort of removable, detachable mount system on it.
Yeah, quick, probably one of those.
Yeah,
Hook ones or
I'm not sure what now. I can't remember, but I know it was a quick release mount system.
So the Germans had Morse 98s,
Yeah.
probably relatively limited number, the FG42.
Yeah, they never
let's
make
go.
huge numbers of those.
What other sniper rifles would the Allies have gone up against?
Only the Tokarev in German hands.
Yeah. Didn't the Germans have their own semi-auto 8mm?
Yeah, they had Walther and Rheinmetall, I think, both made semi-autos.
Yeah, right.
They weren't particularly.
Wasn't there one called like the Gewehr 43?
Bit of air.
Gewehr.
Yeah, and there were several.
How the
Gewehr.
That's how it's pronounced, mate.
Oh, do I look German to you?
It doesn't mean it's not pronounced Gewehr.
Well,
Gewehr.
honestly, though, on that question, you got the blonde hair, you got the bluish eyes. You do kind of look
Oh,
German.
I wouldn't have made it into a concentration camp. Well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that
That's
I don't speak German.
That's because you've got no concentration.
Concentration camp.
It's a terrible thing to joke
Why is
about.
it a W instead of a V? It's Gewehr.
Because it's how they say it.
Yeah,
So they're saying it wrong.
It's only because we won the war. Otherwise,
so the
you'd say
Gewehr
it
43,
Yeah.
that was an 8mm semi-auto.
Anything, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
But anything that's got WH in it is there.
I don't care. So who would have made that?
hang on,
Was that a
Matty-
Wolf?
hang on, Matty Lloyd's
Walther
second the
made
G.
one, and I'm pretty sure it's Rheinmetall made another one, because the German army would have a specification. They wanted a semi-automatic rifle to fire the APA 57, and 2 or 3 companies would get the
Matty Lloyd saying it's the G41.
340.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I think that was the original contract.
Yeah.
Because
But there was a couple of variations of it, because they used
Thanks, Teddy. I know.
They used a gas capture system at the muzzle to function a piston and a rod to open the bolt.
That sounds really dumb.
Yeah.
I think Walther were the ones to tap the barrel, because the original specifications were gas trap and manual of arms for the regular Mauser,
What?
with like you could operate it as a bolt action.
That sounds really dumb.
I think
Apparently,
Rheinmetall did
Shit
that.
idea.
after the Germans had captured some Tokarevs, they
Okay.
I think it was
Years ago,
Walther,
get over
Walther,
it.
someone took the
Like you
Tokarevs
always
and said,
around
well, why
back
don't we make them like this,
Yeah.
and copied the system. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Or a Browning.
yeah, the
Yeah,
Germans
that's
were
right.
as silly as they look. You know,
The Germans were very smart by the sounds of it.
Well, they took all the good ideas when they came across them.
Yeah.
I mean, the most advanced thing they were going up against was that.
Yeah.
As far as sniper rifles go,
Yeah.
the bloody Yanks are using a 1903 bloody bolt action, which everyone knows is fucking.
I mean, arguably, the Soviets were the most technically advanced they were up against, really.
Yeah.
They were so smart, they lost the first
And the Aussies were using,
and then they had another go.
and the Aussies were using something that was even worse.
Yeah, boomerang.
And we're going up against semi-automatic. We're going up against semi-automatic bloody 8mm Morsers.
Yeah. Oh, they weren't.
And it was our strength of character that won us the war.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought it was the Carlton draft.
Might have been the numbers as
How
well.
did we win that war? Was it just attrition or something?
We killed more.
Yeah.
Just a war of attrition.
Germans weren't
growing
going to
up,
win it.
We had bigger bombs.
Yeah.
We bombed shit out of them.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
We also had a million fucking Indian troops.
Well, we know
coming
that
that's
finished
right,
the Japs.
yeah.
We're talking about on the in Germany.
Well, in Germany, they were up against 5 million Russians. You know, for a start.
okay.
But
we stretched a bit thin.
We also weren't completely landlocked in, in getting resources.
Yeah, well, that's right. They were starved of resources.
Yeah.
Well, towards the end.
Yeah.
No, well, they had to get a lot of their metals through
not
Spain.
Not at the start. They had
I
plenty
just
of
can't
access to put
understand
the U-boats in
how-
the water.
I don't know.
U-boat doesn't work real good on
How
land.
can you go up against bloody semi-automatic
I'll tell you
It's
later.
got a tank.
8mm Morsers and shit?
Sort of.
You know, like
The
with
mold
bolt
of a
action
tank.
303s and fucking Sten guns.
I know.
They should every single one of us should have gotten cleaned up.
The Cray brothers, that's what it was.
Oh, is that what it was? The Cray brothers.
Here for a fucking shootout.
Wankers.
Yeah.
Like the West.
Yeah, it's yeah, but it just
Waste
shows
of
you
more time.
the
Fucking waste of my time.
Did you want to read from this? Or?
no, I just
From the Holy Book of 303.
No, that's Skeleton's book.
yeah.
If it isn't Skeleton, it isn't the whole book.
Number
No,
4.
this is Peter Lablia, Holland and Holland,
Yeah.
Oh, he sounds like a fella.
chapter 4, verse 14.
He sounds like a fella that's got leather patches on his tweed jacket, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's
all
a
the
bit
patches.
like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's Peter Layler was an armourer. in
You
the
didn't say that, Bob.
British
He
Army.
said they did.
No, and he certainly knew his stuff. I sent him a Pattern 18 scope, and he rebuilt it for me some time ago. Very nice guy. He said it caused him to drink a bottle of scotch with all the trouble he had getting the bloody old Pattern 18 apart.
Oh, right.
It hadn't been apart for probably 70 or 80 years. And
Yeah.
even though it was brass, there was a little bit of corrosion in it, a couple of dents. But anyway,
Came apart because he threw it.
but anyway, if you ever come across one of these kits, just check that all the bits are there, and then
Sell it to Bill.
if you sell it to me.
No, if you want it fitted, Bill will fit it.
Yeah, I'll fit it.
Because putting the pads on is a pain in the ass, so I'm not going to do it.
We fitted. I fitted
Get
quite.
it done before Bill dies. Basically.
Fuck her out.
I've
Otherwise,
Scoop reckons it was the poor German leadership that lost it.
well, it was the ultimate leadership that lost it. Yeah.
Scoop no, it was around when it was on.
Yeah.
So where might we get one of these kits from then, Bill? You're saying if we can get one.
If we can get one,
eBay.
eBay. Number of Charms had them at one stage.
what were they selling for? They're about $1,200 for a set or something, was it?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can get a Zerotech 400.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's got better glass.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, you don't buy this because it's good. It's only a 3.5 pound piece of shit, like who would want it?
Yeah.
But there's lots of people out there who would want it.
But there you go. It comes in a beautiful little rugged box. You could use that as a football if you were big and strong and ugly
I
enough.
was thinking more as a trench weapon as a
I was
backup.
going to say, well,
That's right.
cave someone's
Was
in.
this the original aim point, was it? You're going to throw it now to show us how
Right
it
in the range, yeah.
keeps it zero.
But intriguing, very interesting. And if you want to know all about it, the scope and so on,
Go back in time.
get that book. Or you might find it on Google or I don't know.
On the Google.
You may.
Or come to Beaton's and talk to Bill for hours and hours.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
How about don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. He's the only one that does some work out the back.
That's right.
But anyway,
Someone else just annoys me.
I've had a fairly productive week actually.
Well, I had a more productive day than Ross.
Yeah.
What did Ross do?
Fuck all.
No, he did less than fuck all.
Well, technically he did.
If I had sat on my ass out the back and did nothing, I would have been more productive.
He did
than
fuck
Ross.
all for the business, but he did a lot for himself.
Oh,
No, he did what? Character development or something?
Yeah.
Because he completely fucked up what he was doing.
Yeah, a lot.
At least he didn't sook and go home. At least he didn't have
He
to
was
drive.
close.
Yeah, probably. Because I was giving it to him. Yeah, I was fucking feeding it to him.
That bolt handle.
Yeah, fuck, it doesn't work. No, he made a bolt handle. He made a bolt handle for his old man's Avro P230.
P230.
Straight pull, yeah.
And it didn't fucking
And it didn't
work.
work. It was a piece of shit. He made it and it was all loose and crap. And when you pull it, it started to come back, but then the bolt handle would cock and it wouldn't pull the locking block out of place, and you couldn't open it. Like if you twisted the bolt handle and held it forward and then flicked it back, it would open.
I did like the fact that his effort, when it didn't work, he just figured that the easiest way to make it work was to pull harder. And he sat there like this going, and it wouldn't work, and then he went, fuck! And I went, what's going on? He went, shut up, what are you staring at?
So yeah, he did fuck all. He did less than fuck all.
Oh, well.
And then he come out, and it was
He's
hilarious, because he came out the front.
Good character development.
He came out the front, and Zaine goes, what have you done all day? And then he got absolutely reamed by both me and Zaine for about half an hour over the fact that we covered for him to make his own shit. And he was still angry at us that we pulled him up on it.
Well, this is the thing. You want to come around here and talk, so we don't have to keep turning.
Yeah, I'll come around now that Bill's out of the way. I didn't want to catch old shit.
So yeah, he's doing this, and I says, I think I've got a program in my CNC to make those, and he's like, la la la. Anyway, I made this thing and it didn't work, and I said, it's all right, just get me the dimensions, and we'll make those bolt handles. And I said, like, we'll make our design. And he says, what do you mean our design? Well, I'm paying your wages to fuck around out the back. It shouldn't even be ours. It should be mine. It's
And technically,
my idea. I'd already made one anyway. All he had to do was copy the one that I made, and he wouldn't have fucked up.
my part of this was the fact that he is not actually employed to be out the back anymore. He's employed to be out the front in the sales area.
Yeah.
And he wasn't.
No.
But did I say anything? No, I just covered for him and did his job, along with my job, again. And then he still had the nerve to go, what the fuck are you looking at? And had a go. And I thought, that's because he's an angry little ginger bastard.
That's it.
It's not his fault.
No, it's his fault.
But he
It's
didn't,
his
get,
fault.
he didn't get to steal enough souls today.
Anyway,
There's really not much going on.
stop bagging Ross and get on with it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm about to say, is that I'm just going to make those things on my CNC,
Yeah, and just win.
and it'll just be...
And it'll take 3 minutes rather
Yeah.
than
All
4
day.
hours.
Yeah.
So,
And they'll actually work. Because I'm making stock adapters at the moment, if you didn't already know. We've already got like 5 sold. I've cut off 8 blankets.
You,
So I've got to make
you want that big list there, Nick?
What list?
On that board.
No, I was just writing shit down there, because there's nothing on there that people need to see.
yeah, it's just righties.
No. So what are we going to talk about first? Do you want to talk about your 7mm? We'll talk about your 7mm first, because that'll tie in nicely with this.
Okay, we'll do the 7mm first.
So, for those people that are watching, you want to go get your 7mm?
I'll get it.
Appreciate it, thanks.
I actually don't know where it is.
I think mine, I think I cleaned your 6mm.
It's
Or
not.
maybe not.
It's not that I lose guns. It's just I don't know where they are in the shop.
There's a lot of guns here.
So it's there somewhere.
I've got to take that 6mm shooting tomorrow, so I don't even know if I've got it out of the bag. But I know at least there's at least one, if not
Have
2
you got
guns
am-
still in bags.
Have you got ammo for it?
Yeah.
Or tomorrow
I've
we're
got
going
like
to be
100
here
and
by
something
myself again.
rounds. No, I've got like 100 and something rounds. But it's the one that I kneeled all the cases and trimmed them to length and fucked around. And, and then I went and sold it even last weekend.
There you go, guys. It is empty.
So,
Did I grab the gun vice out from underneath?
if you saw If you saw last weekend, Friday Night Live, we were testing this with some rounds. Do you want to go get some rounds?
Oh, I know where they are.
We were testing this with some rounds on the out at Billy Farm on the social weekend that we had with our VIPs, and he fired a couple of rounds and didn't hit shit, and so I took the bolt out of it and bore-sighted it and put a round straight through, like about that high at 100 metres, straight through the top. Bam, boom, straight on, beautiful. And then the next 3 or 4 rounds, there was no bullet holes in the target. And what I was doing, I was actually shooting one shot high to the right, to the left, low, to try and judge if it was shooting like a huge crew. And I couldn't get a shot on the target anywhere. We couldn't figure out what was going on. And I should have clicked earlier. The next day we were shooting at about 320 metres, because that's just what the target was set up at. We were just going to shoot into a dam bank and see if we could see a splash, yeah? We were shooting and there was no splash. I'm like, fuck, I can't be going over the top. Anyway, he fired a shot and I wasn't looking through the spotting scope at this stage. I was just standing back watching. And he fired a shot and I saw some dust come up only 80 metres out. But it was like way out to one side. And it's
Even
like,
if it went that far.
yeah. But I was like that's weird, because it's way out. It's like you couldn't even make an error that big.
No.
Like the scope wouldn't adjust that far. You could, like, it's so,
It would have been a
couldn't
good,
work out what
would have
it
been a
was.
good 15 metres, I reckon.
Yeah.
Where's that target?
Out the farm.
Yeah, it's set in the back of
Yeah.
you.
Still in the back of the ute, I forgot it.
So,
Anyway, so I says, oh well, the bullets are coming apart in the air. So we shot at a 50-metre target. We had like a steel gong set up there, and one shot would hit the gong and then it'd miss, and then you'd hit it and drill a hole through it, and then you'd miss it entirely. And then we went down there and had a look, and there was a perfect bullet hole. I've got it on my phone. There's a perfect bullet shape sideways on the plate,
And
like,
it's-
so the bullets actually hit it side
and it's
on.
copper. Like it is just, it's just left this copper imprint.
It's like a Wile E. Coyote type
Yeah,
imprint
it's
in the
amazing.
cliff.
So the bullets are actually coming apart in the air. So this has got a 1 in 7 twist barrel in it, which we put in there to shoot these 197 grain Sierra Produce. So they're really, really long. Do you know what stability factor? Have you ever run data on it, or?
Yeah, dude.
Because you're shooting at what, 2,900?
Yeah,
Up to 3,000, depending on. Yeah, you average it out at about 900. Yeah, 900
100 feet.
900 feet per second.
Meters.
Yeah. Sorry, metres per second.
You know, I was just 870. I've got it set at 870. So we'll go 900.
And what's
Well,
your how stable is it?
2.13.
So your stable's 2.1. So it's well stable, yeah. He could actually use a slightly slower twist barrel and probably still keep him stable. I don't know. If you change it to a 1 in 7, does it still? Sorry, to a 1 in 8 or 1 in 9.
Oh, I've got
Change to a 1 in 9 because that's the other popular twist rate.
1 in 8.
1 in 9.
1 in 9. Done. Bolt. Stability drops down to 1.29.
Yeah, so it's unstable in a 1 in 9. So you have to shoot it through a 1 in 8 or a 1 in 7. Not many people make 7mm 1 in 8s, but lots, or not lots, but a few people make 7mm 1 in 7s, which is what this is. It's a TSE 7mm 1 in 7. The reason they made 7mm 1 in 7s was for 7mm whispers and that sort of shit. If you want to shoot 7mm Produce subsonic, you need a faster twist to get them stable. So it's a 1 in 7 twist, but those Sierra 197s won't survive the rotational speed of the 1 in 7 twist.
Yeah, there's a Prodigy by itself.
Big
As
long
you can see,
Prodigy.
Very,
And it's
very
not-
long.
We're not pushing them, like they're not even doing 3,000 feet per second.
No.
And they're coming apart in the air. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that.
Yeah.
But what it means is that we're just going to have to go to a different project.
Yeah,
Something
try-
that's a bit stronger.
Try something else.
You're going to try some 195 grain burgers.
Am I?
Yes.
Have you got some?
No, Dave's got some.
Oh, Dave's got some.
Who's
Good
gonna
work,
give me
Dave. Are you going to give me some, Dave?
some? He said that last weekend.
Oh, no, I just want to see him say it on TV.
7mm. So you can get 195s. I've got some 180 grain 7mm there. Like, obviously 1 in 7, it's a bit of a waste to shoot a 180 grain. We really want to be shooting like Nosler making 185 grain. We can try that.
Yeah. But it's all about trying. We did try 2 different powders.
Might also send a message to, well, I don't know, because this is the thing, if Sierra, depends on who makes the jackets, because J4 jackets, I don't think Sierra are using J4 jackets, but J4 jackets are like one of the industry standards.
Right.
And so Berger used J4, and there's a couple other guys that use J4. Hornady make their own, they're called AND jackets. But the J4 jacket is like the standard, so you can't dick with that. You can't make the jacket thicker, because then you're no longer using a J4 jacket, which means you're losing out in your performance on because they're perfectly uniform. You know what I'm saying? So you may not. I mean, Sierra may just say, "Well, tough shit. It is what it is."
I've got a feeling we probably won't even get an answer.
No, but I'd like to give them some feedback, because if I was Sierra,
You'd want to know.
I'd want to know. I'd want people to get in touch with me and go, "Hey, I'm shooting your produce through a 1 in 7 twist barrel and they're coming apart in the air."
And this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because as a product manufacturer, you want to make your product versatile.
Yeah.
You don't want to put it into some niche that, you know, very few people can use it. You want to make it so everyone can use it. And if they could do something to mitigate them coming apart in the air.
Like a bit more super glue in.
But I mean, I've had
That's it, yeah. Just a bit of glue between the jacket and it just holds the jacket on the project.
just bonded a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of people come through the shop actually, and been, you know, surprised by the outcome as well. You know, and everybody's obviously got their own ideas and their own opinions on why it's coming apart, and what
Pushing
it's
them to
going.
it.
Rotational speed.
Yeah, it's just pushing them to it.
Yeah. So that's what it comes down to. We're pushing them a bit hard, coming apart.
So did you want to work out what the rotational speed on one?
Yeah, well, that's what you're going to do today for me, but it doesn't matter. We
Give
don't
me a
do it.
calculator on it.
But at the end of the day, you know, that's the fun of doing what we're doing. You know, it's something that we haven't tried. You know, I don't think there's too many people in the world that have even tried this round. We're giving it a go. We're going to have failures. If we don't have a failure, well, we haven't tried hard enough. So it's one of those things. You know, I'm not disappointed. It's just something else that we're going to have to try. So definitely don't think that I'm, you know, crying into my cup of tea every night. You know, oh, my gun shoot. It's definitely not that. It's one of those things where it's just a setback. It's just something that we just got to overcome. We've got to just find something else.
It's part of the fun, really. Like
Yeah.
part of the sport, solving
So-
problems.
We got really
Oh,
lucky.
there'll be a solution to it.
Yeah, we got really lucky with the 6mm. The 6mm just shot, just straight off the bat. You didn't have to change fuck all. It just shot.
Yeah, but that's because a 6mm is a much smaller project.
Yeah.
So the actual speed of a point on the outside of the project is.
Oh, I'm not saying
much
I'm
less.
not saying we have the same problem. So we didn't have any problems with it whatsoever. It just worked.
Yeah.
It worked from the outset.
That 197 grainer, is that a J4 jacket?
I don't know, it's Sierra, so probably not. I don't think Sierra used J4.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, the bullet's doing 2,950 feet per second.
Yes,
Yeah?
Gary. They were blaming Bill's scope to begin with.
So if there wasn't any
I knew it
degradation in the speed, the bullet's travelling at 2,950 feet in the first second. And in that distance, every foot it turns 1.7 times because it's 1 in 7 twist.
Mhm.
Yeah, so 1.7 times. So the rotational speed is 5,057 revolutions per second.
That's a bit quick.
Times.
Well, is it? I don't know. I mean, it is because it's a copper lead.
I've got nothing to compare it to.
I mean,
Is it fast?
I don't know. What would you compare it to? The camshaft in your
I
car?
was
So
gonna
that's
say-
made out of steel and shit and fucking bearings and it's covered in oil. Bullets aren't covered in oil
So-
and they're made from brass and copper and fucking lead.
They're also not sitting in the galley.
Don't forget, when that goes down the barrel, it's got 12 engraved grooves on it. You know, the edges of the rifling engraven. So you've got these 12
these
grooves.
weak points.
Weak points already, yeah. Weakish points.
Mm.
In a normal, in a heavier jacket, it doesn't matter 2 knobs of gun shoot.
But I know Matty Lewis is shooting a polygon barrel
Yeah,
and he was having bullets come apart.
that's right. Yeah.
So it's probably not so much the engraving on the bullet as it is just the pure rotational speed
That's right.
of the projectile.
It is, yeah.
Because that's the rotational speed. Do you want me to tell you what a point on the outside of the projectile is travelling at, speed-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really care. But go on. If that's what makes you happy, that's going to give you
Yeah,
a
I
bonus.
don't know. Because you multiply that by, if you multiply 5,000 odd revs per second,
Yeah, by the
multiply-
circumference, which
multiply
is pi
that by
times.
60 to get per minute.
Per minute. It'll be like 30,000. No.
Do you want it in mil or do you want it in
300,000.
inches? Do you want it in millimetres or?
Times that by 60.
No, why would I times it by 60?
You said it was still per minute.
You can make that relative to your car engine, you know, like a car engine doing 3,000 revs a minute when it's working reasonably hard.
Well, what's 5,000 times 60?
It's 114 minutes a second, metres a second.
Yeah. Pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's spinning.
That's a piece of copper doing that sort of speed. That's
And
movement.
And don't forget, that's rotational, so there's huge centrifugal force on that piece of piece of copper and lead.
I'd have to go to like monolithics or something.
That's why they call
No,
it.
you'll be able to use a different lead core projectile.
I'll try, I know a guy that can just knock something off for us.
I could, but I'm not going to, because there's no point.
Miserable bastard.
Oh, I know, isn't he?
Well, the problem is that if you go to a monolithic projectile, you're losing weight.
Yeah.
You know, because you're limited on the length of the bullet you can shoot by the twist rate that's in the barrel to keep it stable. So you're losing weight. You're losing weight, you're losing sectional density. If you're losing sectional density, you're losing ballistic coefficient. So...
Exactly, it was a 7mm Punchy shotgun.
Yeah.
It was working real well.
It would
about
have been
50
really,
meters.
would have been nasty if you actually hit something with it.
Well, yeah, considering, like, when we were drilling the plate, it was fucking whacking it.
We're drilling a hole through it. Put a hole through the plate.
Like, clean through. Anyway,
What were they, 10 mil plates?
just the ones we're using, those,
Yeah, those
ones with
biz
the key that we
plates,
cut. Yeah.
10 mil.
Like,
10
easy,
mil,
fuck it, just
but biz 500.
Yeah.
straight off.
So yeah, but what we were doing, we could still get velocities out of it, yeah, because they weren't blowing up as soon as they came out of the barrel. They'd travelled 50 metres before they came apart.
And we did actually have attached a Magneto speed and the LabRadar.
So we were recording velocities simultaneously using the two devices. So,
What's much different between the LabRadar and the Magneto speed?
wow.
Definitely in the way they run.
Yeah. Because the LabRadar was really easy to set up.
Yeah, so the LabRadar, you go plonk.
Yep.
I don't know, I'm not sure. I mean, I know, I've spoken to Saul, who we
hired
had
off
one,
of,
yeah,
yeah.
and the way that he set it up.
Yep.
But I've spoken to another guy about LabRadars and stuff like that, and how the extra features they've got, but also some of the meticulousness of setting them up. And I'm not sure if Saul set it up as meticulous as the guy who sells them says they need to be set up, and whether that haven't had an effect on the velocities on them. Because we set it up a couple of times, and the differences that I got in the speeds was different each time, you know what I'm saying? Like, and maybe as a result of something else. But when we were doing the original LabRadar setup with when you were shooting 2-1/8
Yep.
powder, the differences between the velocities was, I'll tell you the differences. So on the first shot, the difference was 3 metres per second, then 8, so it was 3 metres per second. The LabRadar showed 3 metres per second higher. The next one it said 8 metres per second lower. The next one it said 5 higher. The next one it said 5 lower. And the last one it said 4 lower. So it's sort of either side, you know what I'm saying? But then it got taken away and got set back up again. And it was slightly different for the 222.5.
Yeah, well, I think something to do with my muzzle brake was blowing.
Yeah, because all the only one out of all the first ones was recorded.
Yeah. Saul will be able to give us a better rundown of what actually happened on that, but I'm pretty certain it had something to do with the way the muzzle brake was.
The blast was,
yeah.
Because the blast fucks them up.
And using Doppler radar as well, they've got to be set up pretty,
Finicky, apparently.
yeah, in the right area.
Yeah. And then,
Is that Saul Mendelson?
No.
It's another Saul.
Not
Different
Saul.
Saul.
Not Saul.
and then we went to the 225, and I put the data in the computer system. I didn't actually write it on a bit of paper, because I'm a dumb shit. Oh no.
I was going to say, you haven't got both before.
Oh, I've just copied the data over. Okay. So when we were shooting the cold rounds, the LabRadar was -6, -13, -13, -39, minus 21. So it consistently, when we switched over to 2225, it's consistently throwing lower velocities. And then with the hot, it was -3, -2, -12, -9.
Well, the other side of that was the LabRadar right and the Magneto speed.
This is the thing we don't know.
No, because remember we did have the Magneto speed, we couldn't get the bayonet on 100% properly. So
That's
also
right,
had
it
that
wasn't
tail off.
perfect.
Mm.
But then you would expect that.
I couldn't see why it wouldn't.
But the
still
thing is that
register.
once it was set up, we didn't move the Magneto speed.
No.
I mean, I don't think you can tell anything definitive from that, other than that they're within sort of 10 to 15 metres per second, which is it's pretty close. You know, considering his SD was actually pretty high. Your SD was over 20.
Yeah.
So it's the difference between the two is less than the SD.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, so it's
What did it?
it's more accurate than the rounds that I loaded them, so I should probably not hang shit on them. But I didn't really spend that much time like throwing each load.
You
and
didn't
shit. I was
really care.
Fucking bored. I didn't really care. Well, forming cases as well.
Yeah.
You know, so
At the end of the day, that's what we're doing mainly anyway.
yeah.
You know, and that's what a lot of you guys were saying last week as well, was how you noticed how tight it was to shut the bolt. You know, and that was purely because of the fact that we've had the neck turn and leave that little shoulder bit, that little fucking square bit on the edge. That's what we're getting rid of mainly anyway.
But now they just go straight in.
And now they'll just flop straight in there. So
Now the cases are formed.
that's it.
So you've still got a neck size to get the correct neck tension, but they'll just
Yeah.
form.
You probably can't see it on the camera, but let's see if you can get them. So, trying to get rid of that little area there.
Because it's a custom neck chamber,
Yeah.
the neck shoulder junction is square, whereas on most cases it's round. Like most factory chambers and loadings, it's rounded. So it's just tight on that point, which is fine because it gets rid of any stretching due to head spacing. So it's better for your cases long term. I'll fucking laugh if you drop them and they fucking go everywhere. Fuck, that'd be funny. So yeah, back to the drawing board. We've got to change Punchy out and we'll see how we go. But we've got pressures and everything now, so we know what sort of load he needs to use. 71 grains of 2225 or 76 grains of 2218.
Yeah, so
I think
interesting
you're,
that they both, you know, velocity-wise, they weren't a huge difference out. But it'd be definitely good to see which one groups nicer, or
I think you're talking about sort of Nozzler ones.
yeah,
One of the-
2218 was slightly slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe an average of 30 or 40 feet per second slower.
So definitely nothing to concern.
No. So that.
Yeah.
So we spoke about bullets coming apart in the air. Sorry.
But I just thought I'd mention, it's a pretty nice looking scope on it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Steiner.
Yeah,
It's a Steiner TX5, just like the one that you used to have on your rifle.
T5XI 525 with the SCR. It's a very, very, very nice scope, and I have been extremely lucky in the fact that Bill has lent it to me for this project.
After you got him a sprint mender.
I didn't technically. I'm going to
He
claim it.
didn't
though.
get him shit.
I'm going to claim it though because I did all the hard lifting. But, yeah. But no, that's right.
That'll just stay as a shop scope.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because Bill attended a night with Beretta where they did offer us good pricing as dealers
That's right.
for the product. So it would be wrong for us. We got offered at a good price from Beretta
Yep.
because of we're dealers and we hold accounts and that sort of stuff. We didn't get offered at a good price for us then to go and sell it
No.
and make money off Beretta. So it's going to stay in our collection and get used. I think that's the right thing to do.
Well, for our kind of work, we kind of need a couple of really good, reliable scopes like that.
Right, yeah.
Well, we can compare it as well to other ones. So,
And then, but you use it for testing like you're doing now, you know.
Well, because we've done because you used it when I ran you through a long range course, so we know that the internal adjustments and everything on this scope are Mickey Mouse. You know,
and that was
so
on our
it-
Bill's TRG, so he's 300.
which is much doesn't hold a candle to to Trent's 7 mil. That's a shit.
All I'm gonna say is, at the end of the day, everyone's gonna be like, "Snake or what?"
No, well, at the end of the day, I got him out to 1,275 metres.
Well,
and I
that's
got
true.
you out to 13 yards.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right. So
There's a bit over here and a bit over there
that's
and
right.
a bit over
We're not
there.
sure where it all ended up. Some of them might have gone further.
There's a good chance that not one single fragment of shit went more than 300 metres.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
But my 22 LR did.
It did, didn't it?
It did a lot.
Yeah.
It did.
He shot the 320 metre target with his 22 long roll.
He hit it on the third shot. I was pretty
He ran
impressed.
out of adjustment and reticle.
No,
He still had a little bit.
1 mil dot
He
left.
had 1 mil left.
One mil dot
right.
left.
Oh, then he should have had a go at the 640 metre
Yeah, that's
target.
right.
I was mostly impressed that we could still hear it at that, like, because the wind was pretty.
And it did. The wind was right up, and
It was probably bloody Hamish shooting, and you're standing in the bush with a bloody gong.
hey, Hamish hit it.
Oh, well done,
Hamish hit it as well.
Yeah, I know he did.
Yeah, so he was doing quite well. So yeah, don't let anybody tell you that a 22 LR can't go that far. It would have had fuck all energy when
Well,
it got there. You could have caught it.
Yeah, probably could have caught it.
Well, it says on the packet, dangerous at 1
Well,
kilometre.
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
True. But yeah, no, it was definitely it was it was considering it was that federal bulk pack, I didn't give it much hope. But it did it.
I think it was mostly just because you'd run out of things to do, and so, oh, let's just see if we can do this, and we did.
Well, there was also the fact that Hamish had shot all the 203 that I bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the first. In
On
the first hour. 150 rounds.
Honestly,
203 ammo.
The guys that were, attacked Fallujah, I reckon, had less fucking 203 brass around them than what Hamish did. So, that was pretty good. Gary.
Burnt the paint off muzzle brake too.
Yeah, he did. He scorched all the paint off my muzzle brake. That's how hot the fucking thing got.
God, looks like one of those titanium ones.
Got nothing underneath it, eh? Absolute cracker. But good on him, good on him. How much powder? How much powder in the Trent?
How much powder in Trent?
I don't know, Ron.
That's what we do with it. We hide it in Trent's ass.
That's right. So I'm not fat. I've just got lots of powder.
Yeah.
Ron, so we've got a couple of different loads. One's running 71 grains of 2225, and the other one, what was the other way around?
76.
And one had 76 at 2218. So pretty certain that's right.
That's correct.
I am correct.
So it's just shy of 3,000 feet per second with the 197 grainers, which is pretty good because my 7mm rum, I shoot
Oh, good on you, Scoops.
180 grainers at 32.25.
Scoop said he will spot me some burger 195s.
Yeah, probably like 2.
Yeah, maybe 7.
Did that one stay together? Right. Now go buy your own.
Yeah. And those other ones that they've got, $2 each, thanks.
No, thanks, Scoops. We'd
Do
be
appreciate
interested
it.
to see what works for this. I mean, at the end of the day, if we have to, we'll go to AccuBond LRs. Guaranteed they'll stay together.
Actually-
but they're only at 175 grainers. So.
Actually, Scoops, I've got to throw some dates at you as well, mate. So I'll have a chat to you on.
You got to chuck
tomorrow.
dates at him.
Yeah,
And some
What was
sultanas.
yours. So thank you. No, I'll chuck some course dates at him.
Oh, see,
Sorry to help with.
I'll throw in Mel.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see
see.
when Melvin comes. I mean, if Dave comes with us, then
He's a good driver.
you know we'll tolerate him. Sit him up in the corner with some bloody leather fucking envelopes to lick or something. That's a bit harsh. It's a bit rude, isn't it?
All right.
Love you, Mel.
Mill's,
I am running out of time.
Mill's little
Oh, you-
tomahawk bloody
Oh, now
chops
he's
are lovely.
That's all
Your
right.
missus is working today. You should be home now.
She's hanging up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So the kids aren't on their own.
Doesn't mean I can't get home late.
No, true.
Maybe he just doesn't want to be
The
here
last thing we
anymore.
wanted to talk about was the whole Motorplex thing. Well, what did you want to talk about? Because it's not really.
I just wanted to say.
I mean, what's new about it? There's nothing really.
The
new.
fact that they bring up, like the paper brings up that it was, he was tagged with a photo of with a ticker CTR and 308 and
Which has got fuck all to do with it.
With
Someone
the-
else's gun here was tagged in like 3 years ago.
yeah, I just
Anyone who's pulled a ticker barrel knows that they're fucking not easy to pull anyway. Because all they found is a barrel, but no one knows what the barrel's at.
and there's a Well, there's 41 people watching right now, 43 people, and I reckon 43 people that are watching right now have been tagged with some sort of, or have a picture on their phone of them with a rifle. So, I don't know what it says, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but let's try to remember that the media...
I think the thing that we need to remember is the police haven't told anyone anything.
No.
No one knows anything about anything, really. But they need something to put in the paper. They need to sell a newspaper.
They've got to keep the momentum up too. Keep the interest, keep...
But they're putting 2 to 2 together and coming up with 5.
Yeah.
Like he was tagging a picture of a gun, they found a barrel. They're not related. Those 2 things are not related at all. So, but it was convenient because they could find that picture and then found out that it was a ticker and that they sold them at dealerships and shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't mean anything.
No.
So, but obviously it's grabbed the public's attention because that's what they're putting in the paper and they're selling papers from it. So
Once again,
people must find it interesting. People must just be bored with watching true crime on like CSI and shit. Now that it's actually, like if this was in America, no one would give a fuck.
no.
Because it happens all the time. But in Australia,
Especially Perth.
ooh, Perth, yeah.
That little backwater.
Yeah, nothing happens here. So yeah, maybe that's why it's
actually
people
think
interested.
anybody in Perth would have a gun. You mean there's gun shops in Perth?
I've been told
I've
that.
been driven around Perth a number of times and I've never seen a gun shop. Well, except for that one in Midlands, but
No, Gary, no one knows what it is.
they're all Midland people anyway.
The police know what it is, but no one else. No one knows what it is. Like, there's lots of people that are making theories about it. When it originally happened, based on the terminal performance, I said that it was a 243. But the rumour is now that it's a 308. But it's just a rumour. There's some base to it. The police are going around checking ammo sales at dealerships. Fuck knows why. But they're checking ammo sales at dealerships for 308 ammo. Supposedly, that's what we've been told. We actually haven't been checked.
No.
Like the police, like Tim McMillan or whatever his name is from 7 stood here in my store and gave a report about how the police have gone through all the dealerships' ammo sales.
Yeah.
And I'd only told him 30 seconds before that we haven't been checked. And one of the other dealerships haven't been checked. So the police are obviously doing as thorough a job as they need to because they know that he hasn't chopped here or whatever.
Yeah. One of the fellas down at Albany in Razek, he told me that they've been checked.
So they're checking at Albany.
Yeah. So, very, very interesting.
Maybe you drove
But no
down
one-
and picked up some ammo.
Nobody told Ross either.
But
I did
they-
actually rattle out a couple of these and lost them, so I stole them out of Ross's.
Yeah. But
It's
this is
just
the thing,
reminded
no
me because I
one
said it.
knows for
Right.
sure. The police won't confirm anything.
Yeah.
So it's all speculation at this stage still.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Cool. Was that us?
Sorry I'm late, Chris. Yeah, no worries, mate.
That's right, Chris. You'll just have to go back and watch it all again.
So, but it's so there's a lot of speculation. Has he been charged? He has been charged because some people are still saying that he hasn't been charged.
Well, according to the newspaper this morning, he hasn't been charged.
No.
I thought I heard on the radio yesterday they had been
He
charged.
hasn't been charged, is what it says in the paper.
No. I saw somewhere in one of the papers he was arrested on Monday and he was charged on Tuesday. Never spoke a word. Wasn't asked to plead.
Just as well you have a 30.06, Dave. Yep, just as well you have a 30.06.
So he's been in court, Gary Vernon's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't required to plead.
Chris, yeah, I'll watch it when I'm working tomorrow.
So, well, he's been in court. He must have been charged with something.
He had been charged with murder.
Oh, there you go.
And they arrested and questioned another guy, but released him apparently without charge.
Right.
A bikie associate, so the paper said.
He must have been
Yeah,
right.
but I mean, the page is also saying that the guy's ex-SAS and all that sort of shit. And there's, I don't know if he is.
No, well, according to Brian and Brian,
Yeah, and we don't need to say his full name.
no, Brian and Brian, he said, yeah, definitely that white lanyard is artillery.
Yeah. If it's his.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Shows him in uniform.
Yeah, but he might have been on the piss at his mate's place.
Our viewers went up a little bit.
They did.
Start talking about that, and it's jumped up a little bit. Everyone's going, oh, we better get on this one and have a squiz.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's the public's interested about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah.
How many of you saw Flashpoint on Monday?
I didn't.
And Zaine's 15 seconds of fame.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was a really short segment, wasn't it?
One thing.
There's no one like everyone's got the wrong idea of what happened and why I did it.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice.
It's good though. Sorry, just a sec.
Okay.
It's really good. I really love it how lots of people are hanging shit on me because that's the Australian way, you know. I really need to fucking hang shit. Even the cops. Even one of the guys.
Even the cops.
Even the cops hanging shit on me. Oh, it's Mr. Celebrity or whatever it was. And I said, oh, do you want to, this is when the first paper thing, oh, do you want an autograph? He said, oh, can you autograph me paper? Like, that shit's fucking gold. Like, that's... I've heard a couple of people have had a sook about me helping facilitate the testing that
I tell you what,
the reporters did.
Best next
But
comments.
no one give a fuck about it.
Best next comments get two signed. We get a signed hat each.
You want to sign the hat from Zaine? I'll
Okay.
sign it with me cock.
So come up with a joke for us or something, and the two best
Yeah.
comments on the page for
Hang shit
tonight.
on Zaine.
Yep.
And
And I'll get him to sign a hat for you, and I'll get it out to you. So the best two each with a hat. How's that? Make sure you frame it.
But, you know, look at it for what it was. I don't want to go on about this
Right.
too much.
It's time to go anyway. I gotta go.
Yeah, I don't want to explain it.
Alright. Thank you very much for tuning in. Me and Zaine will be on tomorrow.
No, till midday.
Well,
So
Zaine will
Bill's taking over for me because I've got to go shooting.
I'll still be here. I'm going to have a one-day special on a Ticker Deluxe. I think it's in 308, can't remember. But get down if you're interested in buying
It's
a
a
Ticker
Ticker
Deluxe.
Deluxe though, not a Hunter.
Yeah.
It's the Deluxe.
It's the Deluxe, so it's the top of the Wazza one.
Mm.
Nice piece of wood on it. I'm going to throw an awesome special on it for tomorrow. If you want it, come down and have a look. And we'll talk price then.
First one with the money down.
Thanks
How
very
much are the signings? I don't think anyone wants to pay money for my signature.
They're $5 each. Alright, we're going to go. Catch you later, guys. Hope you have a good night, and we will see you on
Tomorrow.
Monday.
No, we'll see you tomorrow.
Alright.
Come down tomorrow.